The ability to read and write is fading, and technology, on the other hand, is growing. It's always growing. But the worst part about all of this is that we as a society, at least the majority, have turned a blind eye. We really don't care. And I understand that this specific topic does and always will spark a lot of debates, right? For example, one of the popular ones is, but aren't these technological advancements a sign of progress? Most of that answer is a resounding yes. However, if you look a little bit deeper, it doesn't take long to realize that we have really lost ourselves in the luxuries of convenience that these advancements have brought us. So much so that they are no longer used as helpful tools, but we are relying on them entirely now, especially nowadays. But the real question is it really that big of an issue? Are we really losing the ability to read and write? Well, with the younger generations, yes. And I want you to take a look at this article that I found written by Dr. Susan Osborne on the Writing Center of Princeton. So the perks of reading and the perks of writing are pretty well known at this point. I really don't have to go into detail about the importance of being able to read, practicing reading, practicing writing. However, the part that Dr. Osborne really hits the nail on the head with is this section right here. But there is a deeper concern. Too often, lack of school writing success conduces to insecurity and self-doubt. When left unattended, that insecurity often spills over into other areas of academic performance, affecting grades and self-esteem. And it's this level of insecurity, self-doubt, and just completely diminished self-esteem from not being able to communicate properly, not being able to have these very basic, what we see as basic, life skills that carries over even outside of school. This insecurity, this self-doubt, affects us professionally, going to job interviews, applying for jobs even, or having relationships, whether it's with family, romantic, or just friendships in general. And this brings me back to the way students are taught, especially in the modern day education system. Textbooks are being replaced by tablets. A lot of libraries are mostly computer labs at this point. It's just quickly taking place of all the analog practices and all the analog aspects of learning that, in my opinion, and I'm sure many other people can agree with, were critical for my learning experience. Even with today's technology, it's still beneficial, especially for basic development, to learn these abilities, learn these skills through analog practices before jumping straight to a screen where you can scroll on and tap. And I know tablets and technology has its perks. I understand that. But I don't think it's a coincidence that we're seeing people struggle to read and write. We're seeing students struggle to read at even a middle school level as they're exiting high school. And real quick, I want to cut back to Dr. Osborne's article here. And this specific point, number 2, I want to focus on in depth. 2 sixth graders with whom I am working with have never been asked to write a 1-page essay or even a short paragraph of academic writing. Instead, they are assigned content comprehension quizzes and tests. And she goes on to say, but writing, like any other skill, requires practice. The more you do it, the better you get at doing it. It's that simple. Practice. It truly is that simple. And it's just not happening anymore. Schools and the education system are continuously backing away from this practice. And we're seeing the negative effects from it. Don't get me wrong. Technology absolutely is the future in almost every category. But if you really think about that statement, almost every category, do we really need technology to replace every ability, every skill, every habit, every interest? I don't think so. Technology and digital resources are huge, and there's no question about that. But I think we owe it to ourselves and the generations after us to promote the importance of those analog practices, the very few that are left. These analog practices are deeply personal. So personal that technology just doesn't have that life to it. There isn't a soul with technology. It is convenient, but there is nothing there that provides character or lets someone have an individual, very personal and intimate experience. Technology cannot provide that for anybody. And students are losing the ability and not even getting the opportunity anymore, at least not nearly as much, to experience that for the first time. It's those factors that aren't often talked about that really digital cannot replicate no matter how advanced it gets. I understand that some people will always be, favoring the digital side of things a little bit more than analog, and I completely get it. But even to those people, I do encourage, right, to maybe switch to an analog practice. Maybe start writing by hand. Even something as simple as a grocery list. Maybe write to your wife, write to your girlfriend, write to your husband or boyfriend, whoever it is. Write them a letter. Feel how special that feels. Instead of maybe your good morning text, write them a good morning note. They will appreciate it more. They might look at you weird, especially if it's something brand new, right? But there's more love in those acts. There's more meaning. And again, it is more personalized. It is something that technology cannot provide. But even outside of the emotional perks, right? There are other ones for learning specifically. We need to let ourselves become more engaged. Reading a book physically and taking notes on that book, annotating that book, or even having a physical journal with you. That helps you understand, that helps you learn and digest that book on a much deeper level. And it all comes down because you're doing it by hand. And I'm not just saying because it's my preference, I'm saying because there's scientific research that backs this up, where us engaging by hand rather than typing, different parts, of my brain are working in a way that I just don't get by taking notes digitally, by typing. You have to remember, it comes down to balance. I'm not telling you to remove your digital resources. I'm not telling you or recommending you to eliminate technology from your life. I understand that that is a part of our life, and it always will be at this point in time. But I think we should start practicing a little bit more of a balance. Just a little bit. Not everything in our life, every hobby, every interest, every resource needs to be a digital one. And that's what I'm really getting across in this video. Hey, sorry to butt in. I'm editing my video right now and I'm realizing I left out one of the most important aspects to this whole problem, and it's social media. And I couldn't in good conscience make this video and post it without mentioning social media. Guys, social media has a death grip on society and really just the average person in general. This is beyond students, this is beyond academia in general. This is a worldwide, across all ages problem. And it's even bigger than just social media, but media in general. It is designed, guys, to grip and squeeze every ounce of your attention from it. And with that, our attention spans are diminished. They are struggling, and that's why media keeps adapting to these poor attention spans. And it will continue to do so. It's up to us to do something about that. So, again, this whole topic with the social media and media in general, that honestly deserves its own video by itself. But I couldn't make this video, like I said, without mentioning it, because it does contribute to the problem I'm specifically talking about in this video. But that's all I wanted to say. Sorry for butting in. Enjoy the rest of the video. Later. Before I head out, I do want to show a poll that I did on my channel before I uploaded this video. This is about 6 days ago, at least from me recording. I said I'm currently working on a new video, and a question came up that I'm curious to get your thoughts on. As humans, are we becoming quote-unquote dumber due to our reliance on modern technology handling so much of our lives and everyday tasks? Examples being memory, planning, AI tools, etc. And 26 of you were kind enough to vote, and I really appreciate that because I love hearing your thoughts. And 50% of the votes went towards yes. And this is kind of where I was expecting to see a lot of the votes go to, because this is really the area that I lean towards as well. I did get a few no's and others in the comments who made some great points as well. I highly recommend checking out that community post. It's really interesting, and I love seeing the comments that you leave because those insights are critical. These conversations are super important, and they're fun to have in general. It's really interesting to engage in topics like this because it's just not talked about very often. So I always encourage leaving a comment. Even if I don't reply to yours, it is not because I missed it. It is because life is crazy and I'm trying to keep up the best I can. But just know I read all of them and I do my best to respond as quickly and as much as I can. So, anyways, thank you so much for watching the video today. I really appreciate your time and I hope you have a wonderful day. We're out here getting ready for Christmas. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving and a great holiday season. I am excited to see you in the next one. Later.